Welcome back to the operetta. There is a lie that sells very well in the city. It's the lie of the rustic aesthetic. It's a picture of a barn with a filter that hides the rust. It's a pair of boots that costs $1,000 but has never touched mud. It's the belief that nature is just a backdrop for your vanity, a passive stage set waiting for you to hit record. But out there, the land doesn't care about your follower counts. The land is old, it is hungry, and the creatures that live on it remember a time before fences, before hashtags, and before mercy. In tonight's story, we meet a pair of tourists who thought they could buy the authentic experience with a $50 bill. They wanted the story to tell their fans, they wanted to touch the wild. They forgot that when you reach out to touch the wild, sometimes the wild breaks your fingers. Let the show begin.
Out here, respect is a currency harder to earn than Bitcoin. You don't buy it, you don't negotiate it, and you certainly don't post it on Instagram. I deal in genetics, heritage breeds. My birds aren't the hormone-pumped, breast-heavy monsters you find in the frozen aisle of Walmart, unable to walk under their own weight. They are bourbon reds, Narragansetts, royal palms. They are lean, distinct, and intelligent. When you look into their eyes, you don't see a chicken. You see the reptilian coldness of the Cretaceous period. They remember when they used to be dinosaurs. I keep a quiet operation, biosecure, precise, or I did, until the ethereal Airy opened next door. It's a luxury glamping experience. A scar on the landscape featuring canvas tents, with AC units, heated floors, and Wi-Fi strong enough to stream their own narcissism to the cloud. Since October, my fence line has been besieged by a parade of city tourists cosplaying as rugged outdoorsmen. They stand at the wire, filming my barns, captioning their posts with tags like "Were Simple Life" and "Were Rustic Rube," their voices carrying over the wind like jagged glass. I ignored the drones buzzing my brooding coops like mechanical mosquitoes. I ignored the designer trash blowing into the pasture. But there is a line in the sand. Or in this case, a line in the mud. And yesterday, Bryce and Sloan didn't just cross it. They stomped on it with designer boots. It was the day before Thanksgiving. The air was crisp, heavy with the scent of wood smoke, damp pine needles, and the metallic tang of impending snow. I walked into Brooder Barn 4 to check the humidity levels and felt the draft before I saw it. The door was wide open. Inside were two strangers. The air, usually smelling of dry shavings and feed, was choked with the chemical stench of expensive cologne and desperation. Bryce looked like a catalog model for lumberjack chic. Pristine red flannel that had never seen sawdust, stiff with starch, and jeans so tight they looked spray-painted on. Sloan was holding a gimbal stabilizer, filming herself, her ring light reflecting in her eyes. They had cornered a young slate hen against the feeder. The bird was terrified, trilling that high-pitched, vibrating distress note that makes my blood run cold. Sloan was laughing, a sharp, barking sound, kicking dirt at the bird to make it flap for the shot. "Hey!" I barked. The sound slammed off the metal roof like a gunshot. They didn't jump, they didn't apologize. Bryce just turned, looked me up and down, and smirked.
"Relax, Chief,"
Bryce said. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a crumpled $50 bill. He held it out like he was feeding a goat at a petting zoo.
"We need a bird for tomorrow. Farm-to-table content. We're gonna kill it ourselves. Authentic, right? But you can pluck it. You look like you know how to get your hands dirty."
Tell him to wash up first. This place smells like struggle.
I looked at the terrified hen, her chest heaving. I looked at the $50, useless green paper. I looked at the $50,000 SUV parked on my crushed gravel, leaking synthetic oil into the earth. "Get out," I said. My voice was low. A rumble in the basement. Dangerous.
"Don't be difficult."
Bryce sighed, stepping closer, invading my personal space with his cloying scent.
"We have a schedule. Just sell us the bird, Cletus. Consider the extra cash a charity donation."
That was it. The switch flipped. But I didn't yell. I didn't swing, I smiled. It was a sharp, jagged thing like a piece of broken slate. "You want authentic?" I asked. "You want the real experience?" I lowered my voice to a conspiratorial whisper. I told them this hen was garbage, commercial stock, diseased probably. I told them if they wanted to really impress their followers, they needed the king. "The Obsidian Monarch," I lied. "An ancient bloodline, kept in the deep woods. The meat is marbleized by adrenaline, but you have to catch him. He respects the hunt." Bryce's ego inflated so fast I thought he might float away.
Now we're talking.
He said, snapping his fingers. "Lead the way." Q345. The walk. I walked them back to the isolation paddock. It's a 3-acre patch of dense brush, thick mud, and heavy timber where the sun struggles to reach the ground. It had rained the night before. The earth was a slurry of cold, sucking clay that grabbed at your ankles with every step. Sloane complained the whole way. Her white boots were turning a ruinous shade of brown.
How much further?
She whined, shivering in her light jacket.
I have 0 bars out here.
"Almost there," I said. We reached the gate. It wasn't chicken wire. It was chain link, 8 feet high, reinforced with rebar and buried deep to stop digging. I unlocked the heavy padlock, the iron cold against my palm. The silence inside the paddock was heavy, oppressive. It felt like a church dedicated to something hungry. "He's in there," I said, pointing into the shadows of the underbrush. "He's a tom, a big one. You just have to grab his legs. Don't hesitate. Be the alpha." Bryce handed his coat to Sloane. He puffed out his chest.
Get the angle from the gate, babe. This is gonna go viral.
He stepped inside. I closed the gate behind him. I didn't lock it. That would be kidnapping. I just let the latch catch. Click, loudly. Bryce waded into the tall grass, the mud sucking at his designer boots with a wet shh-luck sound.
Here, turkey, turkey, turkey.
He mocked. From the darkness of the tree line, a sound emerged. It wasn't a gobble. It was a low, resonant thrum, a bass note that you feel in your chest cavity before you hear it with your ears. It's the sound a velociraptor makes right before the screaming starts. The sound of air being forced through ancient chambers. Lucifer stepped out. He isn't a grocery store bird. He is a 45-pound Narragansett wild hybrid. He stands nearly 4 feet tall when he displays. His feathers aren't just black. They are an iridescent armor of oil-slick greens, bronzes, and purples. His head is a map of violence, naked, pebbled skin shifting from angry blue to blood-red crimson. His legs are thick, scaly pillars of dinosaur hate, ending in spurs that look like curved prison shanks. Bryce froze. The smirk died on his lips.
Whoa!
He said, his voice cracking. Lucifer didn't hesitate. He saw the intruder. He saw the challenge. He dropped his wings, the stiff primary feathers dragging on the ground like swords being drawn from scabbards. Thwump, thwump. The vibration traveled through the ground. He charged. A wild turkey can run 25 miles per hour. It doesn't look like a run. It looks like a low-altitude flight. Lucifer hit Bryce like a cannonball made of muscle and rage. There was a sickening thud. Meat hitting meat. It sounded like a fastball hitting a side of beef. Bryce screamed, a high, undignified, primal sound that definitely wasn't going to make the final edit. He went down hard in the mud, the breath driven out of him.
Bryce!
Sloane shrieked, dropping the gimbal into the muck. It was pure, unadulterated mayhem. Lucifer was on top of him, a whirlwind of beating wings and slashing spurs. A turkey's wing bone is dense. Getting flogged by one feels like getting hit with a police baton. I could hear the dry whack, whack, whack of the wings pummeling Bryce's ribs. Bryce tried to crawl. He was slipping, sliding, face-planting into the slurry of turkey crap and clay. He kicked out, desperate, but Lucifer hopped over the leg with the grace of a boxer and pecked hard. Crack, right at Bryce's belt buckle, then his boot.
Help him.
Sloane yelled at me, her hands shaking.
Do something.
"I can't," I shouted back. leaning comfortably against the fence post, watching the justice unfold. It's the authentic experience. You have to assert dominance. Bryce managed to stand up, covered head to toe in brown slime. He looked like a swamp monster birthed from the lagoon. He turned to run, but the mud sucked his boot right off his foot with a loud pop. He hopped, stumbled, and face-planted again. Lucifer took the opportunity to jump onto Bryce's back, digging his talons into the flannel, riding him like a rodeo bull, pecking at the back of his head. The influencers were shrieking in harmony now. It was a symphony of terror. The arrogance had evaporated, replaced by the primal realization that nature does not care about your follower count. Once Bryce had been sufficiently tenderized, I decided to intervene. Not for his sake, but because I didn't want Lucifer to bruise his spurs on Bryce's thick skull. I let out a sharp, two-note whistle. Lucifer stopped instantly. He hopped off Bryce's back, shook his feathers out with a rattle like dry leaves, and let out a defiant gobble that shook the remaining acorns off the trees. He strutted away, chest puffed, the undisputed king of the roost. Bryce scrambled for the gate on hands and knees. He didn't look back for his boot. He didn't look back for the gimbal. He just ran, limping heavily, dragging Sloan with him towards their shiny G-Wagon. They peeled out of my driveway, tires spinning, flinging wet gravel everywhere, leaving a trail of mud and humiliation all the way back to the main road. I walked into the paddock. Lucifer greeted me with a soft, guttural purr. I reached down and picked up the camera rig from the mud. The red light was still blinking. It had recorded everything. Thanksgiving evening was quiet, the kind of heavy, insulated quiet you can wrap yourself in. I sat on the porch, blowing steam off a mug of dark hot chocolate. I could feel the heat of the ceramic mug seeping into my cold hands. It smelled of cocoa and cinnamon, a sharp contrast to the barn. I had walked over to the glamping site earlier, while they were frantically packing their bags. I left their camera gear on the hood of their car. I even wiped the mud off the lens. It's the neighborly thing to do. I checked my phone. They hadn't uploaded the hunt, but someone else had. A dash cam video from a delivery driver who saw two mud-covered Yetis screaming and fleeing a turkey farm had already hit 50,000 views. I took a sip of the chocolate. Rich, sweet, warm. It tasted like victory. Down in the woods, I heard Lucifer gobble at the moon. He got an extra scoop of corn tonight. Some people think the world is just a backdrop for their vanity. They think they can buy the experience without paying the price. But out here, the price is paid in blood, mud, and humility. And the king always collects.
Glamping tents next door are empty tonight. The lights are off. The silence has returned. Heavy and sweet, setting over the valley like a warm quilt. There's a specific kind of peace that comes from watching arrogance collide with biology. Bryce and Sloan learned a lesson today that you can't download. They learned that you cannot curate nature. You cannot edit out the claws, and you cannot color grade the pain. Lucifer is roosting now high in the chaotic branches of an old oak tree. He's a relic of a sharper, harder world, a world that demands respect or else it takes payment in blood. If you enjoyed this little lesson in livestock management, if you find satisfaction in watching the entitled get trampled by the prehistoric, leave a like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm hunt down more influencers for us to humble. Enjoy the holidays and time with your family. Happy Thanksgiving to you, and be thankful for the silence moments. Until the next movement, sleep.